Hey, what's up? This is Zach here at the GM podcast in Bangkok, Thailand. Super excited to be chatting on Web3, anything else that we'd like. Before we kind of kick things off, I'd love it if my amazing guest could kind of introduce himself. You want to start with like your name, the company you're representing today, and your position.
Hi guys, so my name is Jason. I'm the global gaming lead at Sei Foundation. So I represent Sei Foundation. We are basically the first parallelized EVM blockchain out there. We are on L1, and right now we are actually the fastest blockchain in the world. So in short, we have the fastest time to finality.
That's amazing. And I think that's a huge focus for blockchains as they become more and more scalable. Finality becomes more and more important. I would say that there's a lot of momentum right now around your ecosystem
For sure.
in particular. I mean, I've seen it on socials. You can talk to people and they know what's going on. Um, how has sort of the Bangkok experience been for you here, interacting with your community members in real life?
I would say it's great. Like we had a lot of events. A lot of partners actually flew down, not just on DeFi aspects, even for like gaming aspects where I manage, right? Tons of my partners came down to activations because they believe that majority of the community here are going to be their target audience, right? Especially when it comes to gaming. And it's not just a hub where people actually gather to meet up, but basically things actually happen here, and whereby they actually forge great partnership. They basically do activations, and the results were great.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I think we had something like 900 side events over the week. Absolutely
Crazy.
insane,
Yeah.
right? Um, cool. Well, can you talk maybe a little bit more about sort of your role and, what that really looks like? What are you responsible for, and what does that sort of mean for what you're doing here?
Yeah, I would say the gaming is something that's pretty new at Say, right? I actually only joined them early July, and the whole gaming vertical only started when I joined, right? Before that, there were some games, but there wasn't really like, anybody else who is actually really looking at them or even growing the whole ecosystem per se, right? So right now, we have almost like 40 over game studios building on Say right now. More than half of them are actually live. And then you actually look at, net radar today on Say trends or even Say DApps, gaming is actually one of the top 10, should I say that, top 9 of the DApps are actually from gaming, right? So my role here is not just to like, bring all these developers onto Say, but rather build like a more cohesive ecosystem whereby these developers will actually then succeed. And the reason why we're actually going to gaming is, of course, we want more users, right? Right now, we have Say V2, we are event compatible. We want users, we want transactions, and that's why we're looking at games. So, helping them succeed includes like things like go-to-market strategy, helping them with like events, helping them with like marketing stuff, and basically whatever it takes to make them work.
That's super cool. I'm a huge gamer myself my entire life, so it's so funny because I remember when I was like 5 or 6, my parents were like, "Oh, you're gonna grow out of this." Like, no, didn't happen. Like, love video games still, and the breadth of people in the world playing video games is growing and growing.
Mhm.
Like, I read something the other day that the fastest growing demographic is actually middle-aged women on their phones, which is really like mobile gaming. Like, there's so many things you just wouldn't think of that
Mhm.
across all demographics, gaming is growing. So, for you guys, sort of where are you focusing on gaming? Is it, you know, like, I don't know, tell me some games that you guys have seen that are really cool coming out.
So we are starting to see a very good trend of like games moving from other chains over to Say. So we
Okay.
actually have games moving from BNB, Ton, Immutable, and a couple more.
And you can say?
Yeah, we can definitely say. So I actually have games. There's like previously they were called like Snake Ton, right? Right now they rebranded themselves as Dragon's Leader. Games like Fish War, all these were from Ton. Games like Drift Zone, they came from BNB. Games like Board Wars is an MMORPG, very similar to like EVE Online, came from Immutable. So most of these games are actually just coming over because they look at the trend that we are setting in terms of like building awareness, building the kind of ecosystem for gaming, giving them the support that they need, where it's actually quite lacking, in other ecosystems. So, they are very inclined to actually come over. And in terms of focus wise, when we first started, we were very focused on like hyper casual games, right? Ideally, we want to use this genre to bring us more users. And we are at the stage right now that, we don't just want all these users. We are looking for higher quality games like, Final Glory, which came from BNB as well. It's a triple A MMORPG, the kind of graphic that they have, cross-platform, being able to play on like Android, iOS, and PC, people are like going wow, on the gameplay. So we want something like that can actually build awareness, basically like influence people in terms of like capturing that awareness and attendance, or should I say like their perspective, on the gameplay, and then more developers, more players will start to look at Sei, not just as a gaming chain, but as a general purpose chain, because we also have different NFTs, that's actually doing quite well on Sei.
Super interesting. So you mentioned that there's 40, I think you said 40
over.
or 40 right now. Do you think we'll see console gaming?
Console, there is someone that is doing it, but nothing firm up yet. But I do foresee that console gaming will definitely come up, but not so soon, I'll be honest. Because right now, even in like other chains, we have not seen actually very good use cases. Yeah, so I don't think that's going to be our immediate approach. Because right now, we are just trying like different shot on goals, and whatever works, we are just double down. Yeah.
Awesome. I think, I've been in Web3 for a long time. I've watched kind of the trend of gaming kind of come and go, and even just, not come and go, but just sort of, it comes through in waves. I mean, you could even look at NFTs. There was like crypto kitties back in the day,
Yep.
and then, it kind of evolved, and then we had Axie Infinity and sort of the whole kind of, move like play to earn kind of wave. Do you think that or at least from the games that you're seeing, like are a lot of them still sort of play to earn, or is it more like sort of a Fortnite model where they're buying digital assets and that's where the blockchain comes in? Where, kind of where are you seeing the trend there?
I think this is a good one, right? So if you look at these aspects, the different strategy that you use, right, whether it's a play to airdrop, play to earn, attract different pool of audiences. And the common question here will be, if you're doing like a play to airdrop to acquire users, which is extremely low CPI, right? But the thing is that what will happen after airdrop? Will the users then retain in a game, or will the users leave and look for the next game, to farm, right? So these are the kind of things that we want to mix, I'll be honest, right? Some of the games that we bring in, they're basically like doing play to airdrop format, whereas some are actually focused more towards like gameplay, building community and stuff like that. Because we want like a mixed pool of different kind of strategies that's in our ecosystem to basically build the whole gaming vertical in Sei.
No, that is interesting. Are you seeing sounds like a mix,
Yes.
basically, a mix. That's really cool. Any games I should play to get an airdrop?
I mean, right now we have Archer Hunter, right?
Okay.
To give you guys more clarity, it's actually a Web2 game.
Okay.
Yeah, so we actually have a lot of Web2 game studios coming to Sei, implementing Web3, and they are listed right now on Android, on Play Store, Apple Store as well, right? They have millions of users on Web2, and this is not their only game, and they have seen a pretty good success on how they're working with the Sei ecosystem. And right now, beyond just like getting just one game, they are going to build or bring more of their Web2 games over to Sei.
Very cool. Kind of going into Sei, and for those who don't know, I think probably a lot do, like, can you talk a little bit about the history of maybe the company and like, how old the company is and sort of where you see, like, where is it heading,
Yep. So Sei is actually founded by Jay and Jeff, right? Last year when we launched our mainnet, that was where we all started. And it was only this year that we launched our Sei V2, where we become the first parallelized EVM. And the reason why we are looking at EVM, obviously, because majority of the developers, more than 80% in the world, are actually, using, EVM, right? And that's why we actually pivoted. And right now, we want to position ourselves as a general purpose chain, even though I focus on gaming, but we have other verticals on DeFi, NFTs aspects, even looking at, RWA, AI, and we just want to make sure that we are a chain that, people will want to use, not just on the B2B side, but also on the B2C side as well. I think to put it short, we want to be there to solve, issues for Ethereum, whether is it like gas fees, we want to be as dominant as Solana in terms of like, transaction speed and stuff like that. And
so you're kind of taking the best of
Yep.
what you see as the skills of different blockchains, and
Yep.
you think that it's the most superior. And I think it's very interesting to people because some people are like, well, why does a couple of seconds, or why does it matter? Like, can you explain for the games that you're talking to, why are they moving over? I mean, there's got to be a reason that they're like, okay, I got to change my tech stack here.
Yeah, time to finality basically means, how fast a transaction can be confirmed and become irreversible, right? And when it comes to gaming aspects, this basically translate to latency, right? So as a player, what we hate the most would be like latency, or like shows transactions, because as a developer, if you look at it, if things takes long to process, it basically means that players will be having struggles with in-game aspects, which is like operation stuff, and this could potentially reduce the revenue in the game itself. Like for instance, if you want to buy something in a game or to process something in a game, as a player, if it takes more than like a couple of seconds, sometimes you get frustrated, right? And when you want to do some transactions, that leads to business models, right? This basically allows things to get confirmed faster, and this basically benefit both developers and the players themselves.
Agreed. Well, I'm really excited to see kind of the future, and I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us with the coolest fit I've seen so far, like outfit. Absolutely fire. Anyway, so thank you so much for the fantastic interview. Make sure to follow Sei on all social media. Do you have like a personal handle you want to shout out, or?
Yeah, so to be honest, my personal handle is more about like how games are on Sei. So it's actually pro above me, right? And the reason why I call myself pro above me is I used to be a pro esports player.
Oh, no.
So whenever
What was your game?
Sorry?
What game did you play?
So I started playing Dota first.
Okay.
So I played in the World Cyber Games for Singapore, and then I played StarCraft, and then I moved forward to Mobile Legends and a lot of other games. But pro above me basically stands for like if you're on a leaderboard and if you're above me in terms of the ranking, then you're better than me. But in most cases, it's not going to be the case. So yeah, that's why I do it. Yeah,
I love it because you're the top of the leaderboard.
I try to be there, but yeah,
Let's
I
go.
try to teach things around. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much. I just want to say too, I love that they have I think it's really smart to have really big gamers running gaming for companies. Like you need that. You'd be surprised some companies like, yeah, no, I've never played video games before and I'm running the gaming community. I'm like, that might not work out. So yeah. Super glad to hear that. Thank you so much for the fantastic interview, and make sure to follow them. Thank you.
Hey, what's up?
But it's not something Genzio is afraid of.
If you want to survive, you got to build a
How
hive.
many know we do not understand that we do not want?
Ladies and gentlemen,
Get back at the Genzio Media House.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining us today.